people across the continent. Yep.
Hello,
Yep.
everyone.
Cat knows.
Cat, yes. We basically you've missed it. It literally we hit the top of the hour and Hemingway was at my desk chair like, I have hugs now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
There are people to watch me.
oh God, he knows. He truly does know.
I mean, the same way that they know about like it's time for food, it's time for
Right?
they recognize those kind of patterns, and
Yeah,
it
but
doesn't
like
surprise me.
they don't do this at 3 o'clock every day, just on Fridays.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Gotta love it.
Yep.
Gotta love it. Anyways,
Here
hi
for their
everyone.
adoring fans.
Yeah, welcome. It's time for Paint and Slay. I'm V. Above me is Lauren, and today we're gonna keep going with our magnificent young black dragon from WizKids. So as you can tell, it's very black and white right now. The white, remember, is the primer that's already on these minis when you get them out of the blister box. So they're ready to paint, and we've been working on painting it black. And today we're gonna finish the blackish details and move on to more color. So it's going to be kind of fun to get some color onto this fellow. But before we get into things, just some stuff happening with the game. Lauren, what's going on with Idol Champion stuff?
Well, first, we have a couple more days for you to unlock Presto in the game. That's right, there he is. So you've got the weekend in if you are still gearing Presto up from Grand Revel or any of the other champions from this event. So make sure you definitely go check that out. I think I'm trying to remember. Nope, not yet. So yes, go check out Presto. Also, it is noon on a Friday, which means it is the time for, yay, weekend buffs, which obviously has got to include Presto in there. I love it's the Hat of Many Spells weekend. So Presto has been, and Grand Revel has been going on for about a week and a half now. And the joyful thing about Presto has been asking people about rotary phones, because some of us are old enough to remember rotary phones and using them, and some people are not. And Presto, that's one of the things he pulls out of the hat. So I'm very excited that we're getting a last like hurrah weekend of pulling an ancient relic out of the hat. So there you go. Go and check your email for the newsletter that will be coming out shortly, sometime in the afternoon, so you can get your free gold hat chest, which, yeah, look at those hats. They're good hats. They're good hats, people. They're super good hats.
The fact that all of their hats are on top of it. Sorry, Hemingway is being a bully right now.
Oh, no.
He's trying to climb up my leg.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
it is. It's such an adorable chest. Yeah,
it really is. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so I think that's it for now. We might have more to chat about later, but I think this is a good start. So, like I said, we're working on the WizKids Young Black Dragon. This cat, hold on, he's come on, come say hi. Good Lord, I can't.
Hi, kitty.
There we go.
It's been a little while, so
he's such a good
yeah. It's time for everybody in the chat to say hi to the cat.
Yeah, so if you missed the previous 2 episodes, basically, we painted it black. I'm not even kidding. This is a larger mini, so it has taken us 2 episodes to get the black paint going on this body. So episode 3, we're focusing on finishing up the blacks, which is basically getting the talons and the claws finished up with the black pudding that we had just started at the very, very end of the last episode. And again, we're using the D&D prismatic paints, which if you have Vallejo paints, they're very similar paint colors for the most part that you'll find in these sets. However, the ones that have names like black pudding, yeah, those are part of the D&D prismatic paints. They aren't something that just floats around with Vallejo stuff. So just keep that in mind. But this is sort of like a nice dark midnight blue black. For those of you playing the home game and you have your own paint colors that aren't Vallejo, aim for something in that direction. So yeah, we're going to pick up with basically doing a fun mani-pedi. So I got these claws taken care of. Totally
I should warn everybody in chat, I am also your moderator for today. Hi, it's me. And apparently Twitch is having some interesting issues. We're live. Things are going on. Well, I know for a fact this is not true, but it says we have nobody watching. So I'm just double checking a few things, and it looks like everybody on Twitch who is live has nobody watching. So if you're in the chat, yes, we are live.
Oh,
You can
wow.
use exclamation mark code to get the code. I'm just I'm
So
looking at this.
interesting.
Yeah, it
Interesting.
is. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yes,
we're
it's
getting
live and we are
validation from the
watching.
chat. Thank you,
Yep,
chat.
Twitch is twitchy. Yep. It's
Yep.
platform wide. Hopefully it's just a UI problem.
Aw.
Listen, we are happy anyone is here in chat. That
Exactly.
little red number is we are not going to pay attention to that. We are not going to be governed by the little red number. I just wanted to make sure the little red number was an indication of something had gone wrong. But we're all good. We're all good.
Caliban's comment was a mood.
Yeah. I
I'm
know
not
that
really
feeling.
here.
I'm not. I mean, we're all trying. We're all trying.
Yeah, that was
But yes,
good.
I'm sorry.
That
We
was
were
good.
talking about awesome blue black
Yes,
and
it's
yeah.
an awesome blue black. So we're gonna go around and finish doing this on the claws, and then we'll move up to the talons on the wings and get that all squared away. And then we're gonna start moving into doing the belly of the beast, and then the wings is essentially the game plan for today. So that being said, grab yourself the black pudding from the prismatic paint sets, or a dark midnight blue, or a very cool tone black. Which you're saying, well,
There we
black
go.
is black. For the most part, black is black, a very dark color, but it can shift towards neutral, warm, or blue, depending on what black you have. And if you don't believe me, go take your clothes that are black out of the closet, line them all up together, and you'll notice some blacks look almost brown like next to their partnered black colors because they're warm tone blacks.
And
So,
that is something that I have to do on a regular basis because
yeah.
uh
Well, the
with
concert
stuff
wear,
like
right?
this show and being married to an artist and all sorts of things, I have realized I am not necessarily good at that kind of color theory, at just looking at a color and knowing what the undertones are. So I need to have I need to have the blue black dress next to something else in order to distinguish. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You okay there?
No! I need arm space, and someone's like, hugs.
All
I
the
want
hugs. Oh,
the
Belswin,
hugs,
thank you for
Mama.
all of the gift subs. That
Oh,
is
wow,
very
thank
kind.
you.
Yeah. If you
Here
got
comes.
a gift sub from Belswin, make sure to tell them thank you and enjoy your emotes because yay.
Always appreciated. Are you gonna hunker? You gonna hunker here,
Oh,
sir? Oh,
we've got an excellent question from chat. Avne
awesome.
Me asks, "Hi, how can I receive newsletter for the chest?" Ah,
Ah,
excellent question.
perfect.
Go into your game. Go to the settings, and in the when the settings menu comes out, one of the options will be newsletter, and you can sign up right from in the game. And we send out one newsletter a week, usually on Fridays, and
Yeah.
it always includes a free gold chest for you to use. In the rare case that we send out a second, it's real rare. It's like maybe once every couple of months, you get a second newsletter
Yeah.
from us. It will usually also include something free in there. So we're not going to send you 3 billion
No.
emails. We promise.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I've
I'm
got
sorry, we're using,
newsletters. No,
oh, jeez.
I've got
You get
newsletters from
like
other
automatically
games.
signed up. Oh,
There was one game. I'm not gonna say the game's name.
mm.
I am not kidding. It was like the breakfast, lunch, and dinner email chain. I was like, okay,
That is the
game's
quickest way for to
fun.
get people. Yeah,
So
it
we
doesn't make
don't
any sense to
do
me.
that, is what I'm saying. It's seriously, we
Exactly.
really do hold to that Friday afternoons, evenings, depending on your time zone type of situation. And then also with those newsletters, sometimes people's like, oh, I got my newsletter. You go check your email box and it's not quite there yet. Those emails like to march out in chunks. So it's not that it's, press the button, everyone gets an email. It's press the button, and it's sort of like a train leaving the station where certain cars are off on the track before the others even start moving.
Yeah.
So just kind of keep that in mind. If you really do not get a newsletter and you know you've signed up and it's been like a hot minute, like over 24 hours, you could always check in and submit a ticket type of thing and follow up and find out why your newsletter is not showing up in your inbox.
Exactly. And when you do sign up, you should immediately get one
Yeah.
newsletter from us that says, "Hey, thanks for signing up. Here's a code to unlock Hitch in your
Hitch.
game."
Yeah.
So that should
Here's a
also help.
hitch.
Not only will you get a free champion just for
Yeah.
signing up, but that should also be a good indicator of like, oh yeah, we're
Yeah.
good to go.
Yeah.
All right,
So
Claus, let's do this.
I do it for the claws, the claws, the claws. I do it for the claws. That's all I'm gonna do.
Yes, but Peter Immelberger says something which is incredibly true, which is there's a very thin line between good marketing and being annoying. 100%.
Uh huh.
Oh, that back claw, that back claw.
The
There we
dew
go.
claw is a fun one to try and grab, for sure.
Tyrant76 says, now I know how long a hot minute is. So I will admit, I use hot minute as a very general way of saying it's been a while. And how
Yeah.
long is a while? Well, uh, I know I've used hot minute to describe everything from a couple of days to 12 years. So 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 that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, for me, a hot minute is if it's been long enough, you forget.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I use it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. It's long enough. I use it pretty often with things like movies that I haven't seen in a very long time.
Mm hmm.
That tends to be when a hot minute comes up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, just forewarning, folks, I'm going to be doing a lot of camera work today because we're going grand scale size to itty bitty detail size. So there's going to be times I need to toggle the focus manually for the minis because the autofocus, while it can be helpful when I have to move a mini around a lot, it starts like strobing. And I don't want to give you guys like seasickness
Ooh,
from
yeah,
watching
no
mini
strobe.
painting. So it's just easier for me to do it by hand.
Yep. Uh,
I have tried in the past, and autofocus just is not necessarily a mini painter's friend.
no, and even with autofocus for things like just using on a stream, there's
Yeah,
we're all familiar with those times and where you've moved a little too far and now it's out of focus and the camera just refuses to get back in focus. It just happens.
exactly.
Uh Moinaloo, usually the number of viewers is listed somewhere on the Twitch screen while you're
Yeah,
watching. In this case, it be broke. And you know what? The numbers don't matter. It's the people and so
exactly.
thank you for coming. Um and then also I liked
Aurora. They missed you,
oh
chat. The cats have missed
start
you.
hi kitty. Look at those paws. Ready to paint. Star Chaser, there's no story behind the code. I just thought it was funny to say Dargan instead of
Oh,
dragon.
we always call them Dargans. That's why.
Yeah. And I'm also very well aware that there are some words that get used a lot more than others as
Yeah.
far as chest codes go. So anytime I can be like a little different, I'm more likely to actually succeed on a chest code.
Yep.
So yeah, in this case, nope, no secret messages. It's just me having fun with codes.
But I mean, isn't that the whole point with codes? That's what I like doing when it's time to create codes, is trying to get clever with them.
Yeah. Yeah, not only clever, but like especially if you're gonna say something like use dragon, or if
Yeah.
we're talking about a specific champion that we've talked a lot about or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. There's always it's always a I'm gonna say fun, although every once in a while it's frustrating challenge to come up
Yeah.
with a unique code that we haven't used before. Because I mean, we're multiple years into this game.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, so I got the claws on the feet, and now I'm
Okay.
working on the wing tips.
Yep. That is the name of the game.
Is there anything else? Like, I don't think there are any dew claws on this Dargan. I
Well, I
might be
mean,
wrong.
there's these bits I'm debating on the elbows. I'm debating if I
Oh
want to make them
yeah.
the same color as the horns, or if I want to make them. Okay, chat. I think we're gonna leave this up to you. Do we want to make the elbow protrusions black pudding, or to match what the horns are gonna be, which is more of a tannish, taupish deal? What do you think? Because really, it can go
Chat.
either way.
I'm just gonna keep an eye on chat instead of
Chat, you
running
pick.
an official poll because my hands are
Oh yeah,
full.
no, no, of course, of course. Pudding.
Yeah, pudding or I'm sorry, what was the other option?
Pudding or literally. Excuse me, Miss Sitting. I need those. She's sitting on my notes. Be pudding or dead flesh.
Ugh.
The official names.
You know what I like? I saw Tyrant 76 saying matching horns. I think just to avoid having to say dead flesh, let's say
There we go.
in chat, go ahead, put either pudding or horns, and we'll
There we
we'll know
go.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good way to handle it.
Dead flesh. Yeah,
Oh,
every
God.
I'm getting a bunch of people who are all talking about the horn color who all want
Okay.
that it's going to be a nice contrast. And
Then yeah,
as
we'll.
much as I am a fan of the black pudding on
Aren't
everything,
we all?
I think I
Yeah.
do agree. Pudding
Okay.
horns.
Then that's what we're gonna do. We'll match it to the horns. So that'll come up soon.
Thank you, chat.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Oh,
Hmm?
did I miss doing the tip of the tail in just regular black?
Maybe. If you want to,
Hmm.
you could have fun and do that in black pudding. If you want more black pudding, there's no reason why you
I'm
couldn't.
kind of I'm just realizing now you got the top of the tip of the tail, whereas I did not do that. And I think I'm just gonna go ahead and make it
Go
black
for it.
pudding.
How very timid of you. What?
Manula says, pudding or horns? What is the question? Favorite food or instrument? I mean, I do like horns. French horns, English horns, all the horns. But also black pudding, like chocolate pudding, is real good. Real good. Can't have them at the
Oh,
same time. You can't play the French horn and eat pudding at the same time. So one or the
that
other.
sounds messy
Mm-hmm.
and gummy at the same time.
Yep.
Note I said gummy, not yummy.
It is not a good idea to eat
Ooh.
and then play any instrument that involves blowing into, say, a reed or a mouthpiece.
Yeah, that's hard enough as it is on its own.
Yeah. Which is why, for example, on Sunday, I have a rehearsal and a concert with a break in between for lunch. And there will be a bunch of us who will be bringing uh, toothbrushes and toothpaste so that we can enjoy eating. Ah, I just got
Mm-hmm.
black pudding all over my. Ah.
Oh, what happened?
I just pressed up against a place, one of the claws while I was painting
Oh
something else, and
shoot.
now I've got this streak of black pudding down my hand.
Ooh, that's frustrating when it happens. Alrighty. All right, so I let those dry.
Oh yes, Jobone UK is talking about technically black pudding is an English breakfast of basically dried blood, and then put in the quote from Wikipedia on what black pudding is. And yes, it is a taste, and I guess I'll leave it at that. Is a taste. I think I got everything. Everybody else enjoy the kitty while I take a look around for spots I might have missed.
Did you miss a spot?
I got that side.
Okay.
Think I'm good.
He's my smush face.
That is,
He's just smushy.
it's just, it's funny because on the one hand, they kind of look angry just because they're smushed, but you can also tell that this is
Part
just
of
the
the
happiest
storm.
cat.
He's like, I'm good. I'm getting my love.
Mm-hmm. Hemi floof. Exactly.
And he's the floofinator. The floofy bear. I call him my owl bear sometimes because, I mean, he's got this
Look, I'm
owl-eyed face and he walks like a freaking bear, so he's my owl bear. Okay, so we're going to take black pudding and we're going to mix that with Stonewall Gray. So we're aiming for like a charcoalish gray
okay.
for this. Rory! Jesus Christ. She just had bopped him. Like, that's my mama.
Charcoal gray.
Yeah. So it's more black pudding to. Oh, come on. Now, Stonewall Gray is one of those Vallejo colors that is everywhere. It's in a bunch of different of their kits. In a bunch of their different kits. English is fun. Um, so it's not one of those special D&D prismatics. I think it's like the one color I have so much of because of in how many different little sets
Because
it's
it's in
been
all the
included.
sets.
Yeah. Like I even have like sets that are like, 7 paints in number because it's for different thematic mini paints. And Stonewall Gray is just there it is.
It's just one of the standards.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Cats T Sweaters says it makes sense. Owls are flying cats, so cats are landlocked owls.
Cats are landlocked owls. Oh my goodness. I like that turn of phrase. Cats are just
Yeah.
landlocked owls. I'm here for it.
Okay.
Okay, so slate blue is more of the color I'm meaning. I realize I said charcoal, but because with the blue undertone, it gets to be that slate color.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a quick swatch so people can see what I'm talking about. And then we're going to use this to dry brush along everything black. And we're going to do a very light-handed dry brush with this. But this is where I said, even though a creature might be black, the whole thing itself is not black. So it's a nice slate blue,
Okay.
like that.
I think mine's a little more gray than blue. I might have added a little too much of the gray.
Okay.
Oh, let's go. Where'd my blue go?
Where my blue at?
Where my black blue? Where'd you
Blue.
Black pudding. There we go.
Bye. Apparently Hemi's a critic. I start singing and he leaves me. Fine. All right, so what I'm going to do is start dry brushing across the texture of the Dargon's skin. And whenever you dry brush, you always want to try and pull the brush across where the detail is. You don't want to flow with the lines of the detail because that means the brush bristles will fall into the grooves, and you don't want that to happen. So you can see how there are these striations that run on a horizontal panel, which means I want to pull vertically back from them as opposed to on the horizontal with the pattern. So I'm going to
Okay.
start doing that.
There we go. That's much more blue.
Yeah.
And you said everywhere this Dargon is black.
Yep, everywhere it's black. Because now it's basically becoming a nice highlight.
Yeah, time to show off all these scales.
Yep.
And muscles. Scales and muscles.
Oh yeah,
'Cause,
there's musculature galore
Yeah.
happening on this one.
And now it turns into the which way can I hold the thing?
Yeah, exactly. Turn it from all angles. So you can see by using that bluish black now, it pops out the
Yeah.
details so it's not such a flat looking miniature. You can tell the difference just from this leg to that one. The details pop out a little bit more. But at a distance, this is still going to translate as a black creature, especially because we will do a black wash at the end. And that's going to bring that bluish tone down a little bit, but give us enough of a difference so that when the black wash goes on, it doesn't mute everything back down together.
Yeah. Pete Immelberger, we are painting a young black dragon. That's what we got. So only a very large mini instead of the gargantuan of the
Yeah.
older dragons.
Not the adult or the ancients.
Nope. Although one of these days it would be kind of fun to
We do
pull
have
out
that
just
silver one.
yeah. It might be the kind of mini that involves some homework because
Yeah, that's just
I
it. Like,
think
we'd have to paint in between because it's so sizable.
yeah. Which I think would be fine. I think that'd be fun, especially for stuff like just continue to paint the
The
rest
body. gray.
Yeah. Like with this
Yeah.
one, after the last show, because I'd gotten a little behind because we were having so much fun chatting with Mark,
Right.
I just spent a couple extra minutes and finished up doing the black, uh, where it needed to go, which was just super easy. So yeah, I could see us doing that large of a Dargan or other
Yeah.
creature,
Yeah.
and like, okay, there's just gonna be homework involved.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
Just so we're not spending 12 episodes
Oh,
painting a mini and spending 5 of those episodes just painting silver.
yeah, because that's going to get kind of tiresome in and of itself, quite frankly, for both viewers and painters.
Yeah. It'll turn into one of those cooking shows and where it can be like, so you're gonna do this and you're gonna do that. And
Mm-hmm.
now I have
Go
one
over
that's
to the
been
magic oven.
pre-prepared and
Yep.
painted.
Head over to the magic oven that, just suddenly has
Yep.
the very dish you needed, prepared as it is. Yes, Peter Rimmelberg, it is a young black Dargan. I like the spelling.
The Dargan.
Young black Dargan. And Lauren, don't worry if this color gets on the talons. In fact, it's okay because it's been lightened as well from the black pudding. It'll act as a highlight on those if you hit them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I was just getting into more difficult spot. The back legs. The
Mm-hmm.
black on the back legs.
Yeah.
That
But as you
is.
can see, the reason why we're doing this dry brushing section first, look at what happens. And this is going to be
Yeah.
a different color. So this is why we're doing the darker sections first, and then we're compartmentalizing which areas we're painting. It just saves you on a lot of like, oh crud, I didn't mean to paint that back and forth.
Yep. Which happens.
It do. It absolutely does.
Caleb Marin wants to know, V, you've
Mm-hmm.
done a few cosplay makeups, and I was curious about something. Scales, specifically Dragonborn scales on the face. Would you be able to recommend any tips? My D&D girl is a
Oh yeah.
half Dragonborn, half Elven Waterdeep college student. Think about making her in real life for a con or something. Ooh, very cool.
Take a pair of fishnet stockings, pull them over your head. Then you take a brush and you blot the eyeshadow onto your face. And then you carefully, some people say pull off, but I found that constrict it. You just carefully take a pair of like rounded tip scissors, rounded tip for reasons so you don't accidentally stab yourself. Then you just cut away the fishnet and you'll have a scale-like effect on your face. And make sure it's a classic fishnet knit, not like a stylized knit with a pattern to it.
Hmm. Now, for those of us who
Mm-hmm.
are of the very, very pale persuasion,
Yeah.
uh, who might be interested in, say, a gold dragonborn, which might not show up as well on very, very pale skin. Do you have suggestions for those of us to make that work? Is that
Yeah,
just
just
a
get a
layering
tan.
thing?
Yeah, just get a tan foundation on first,
Okay.
matte tan, and then you can do gold, and it'll give you more of a golden tune. No, a golden hue
Okay.
to your skin.
Up the wings, up the wings.
Keep that face.
I'm trying to be very deliberate in where I am painting so that I'm doing this in some sort of order because I know there's going to be a point in where I'm going to go, wait, what did I already do? And while the blue is
Mm-hmm.
noticeable enough that it won't be a big deal to figure it out, it will also
It's
just be annoying.
still, yeah. Fully understand what you're talking about.
Oh, doing the head is fun.
Yeah, I like the protrusions that show off more.
Caleb Marin is with me. I am also very pale. Northern Europe genetics. I shall make note of these tips. Yeah, and
Yeah, see,
yeah.
I'm technically part Mediterranean, but I got the Irish blood really showing itself in my complexion.
Yeah.
I'm
And
super
on top
pale.
of that, I grew up in Buffalo, so it's not like I lived in a
Right?
place in where I was seeing a lot of sun.
Let me tell you, I was like growing up as a kid, always super envious of my cousins on the Italian side and how beautifully they tan. They just walk
Mm.
outside and they're like perfection golden sun kissed skin, and I turn into a lobster.
Yep. Yep.
I'm just doomed to be red.
Aw. But yes, I experimented with a lot of options. This was many, 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 many
Mm,
years ago,
yeah.
for the Avernus event that
Yeah.
happened. Because Beyond Heroes got a chance to play live, and so we were all dressed up as our characters, which brought true the prophecy, which I knew was eventually going to happen. When I made Orkira Dragonborn, one of the first things I was told was, there's a very good chance we're probably going to cosplay as these characters at some point, and you're a Dragonborn, that's going to be a problem. And I'm like,
Mm,
I will cross that bridge when we come to it. And then I
there you
had to
go.
come to that bridge. So yeah, I played around with a bunch of ideas, and I know I think VU gave me some suggestions. I also got some suggestions from Dustin and Devin from D4,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
do that kind of
Oh,
costuming
all the
for a
time. Yeah.
living. And then fortunately, they had professional makeup people there, so that helped a lot. But I did
Oh, that's nice.
run into that specific issue of like, oh, here's the gold that I want to use on the scales on my face, and then I put them on. I went, mm, mm, mm. I'm too pale.
Yeah, that's just playing with your own skin tone and darkening it up a touch to bring in warmer tones. So the gold has something more to play off with.
Yeah.
Because essentially, if you're cool tone and you're trying to put a warm tone on top of your cool tone, you kind of almost neutralize it in a way, so it's not as
Yeah.
vivid.
Yeah, and that was another one of those moments where I'm like, oh, I'm just one of those people who can't see those kind of undertones.
Yeah.
So I got to get this figured out.
Well, it's funny. I learned something with my eye doctor when they were screening my kids for color blindness,
Mm.
and one of mine is a colorblind, red green type of situation.
Oh.
Yeah. So the eye doctor turned to me like, okay, does color blindness run in your family? Like, yeah, my father's colorblind. She goes, and you have a son who's colorblind, huh? She goes, how are you with colors and being able to lock in on a color? Like when you go to a paint swatch store, can you pick out the exact color that needs to match something in your house? It's like oddly accurate depiction, yes. Where are you going with this?
Yeah.
She goes, you're probably a tetrachromatic. I was like, what? So apparently,
Ooh.
if you're the daughter of a colorblind father, you're more likely to be tetrachromatic. And then if you produce a boy who is also colorblind, it's almost a confirmation.
Huh.
Which I was like, well, that explains my like for all the different colors. Okay.
Genetics in action.
And I
That's
was like, that's
awesome.
kind of cool. Okay.
Yeah.
But it was like, you know how you're sitting there, and it's not like I know my eye doctor that well. I see them once a year type of
Yeah.
thing. And then for them to rattle off this very accurate thing that I have never
Mhm.
shared with them, I'm like, how do you know this? Like,
Yep.
what? So yeah, that was a fun little
Some
okay.
they had taken an advanced genetics class at some point, and this is
Right?
stuff that they had learned about for, being an eye doctor, and they were
Yeah.
probably so
Well,
happy
it is.
of like, this
Yeah.
is I know how to do this. I know what's
I know
going on.
what this. I know what you are.
I know what you are.
But yeah, it was like I said, it was just such a random thing to lock in on. Be like, do you do this? Is like, yes, yes, I do.
And not just random, but like you said, very specific.
Yeah.
Like, you go to craft store, you can do this, you can do
Mm-hmm.
that, not just like, hey, are you good with colors, but can you do this exact thing? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
So really, what does it mean? It boils down to like I see more nuances in colors than a majority of people would. Which is probably why I like playing all those mobile color games because I like trying to pick out. There's a game called No, Don't Step in the Paint called I Love Hue. Really
There's a
fun
game
game.
that's no, don't step in the paint. I could
Yeah,
totally see that actually.
there should be one.
Mhm.
God, Hemi. No, it's called I Love Hue, and the higher up you get, the harder it is to tell the differences between the color blocks that you have to line up in order of hues. Um,
Ah,
but it's like games like that I really enjoy because, it's fun picking up the differences in color.
that's your jam.
It is. I'm like, well, okay, this explains why I liked doing stuff like that.
See, I'm curious. I kind of want to download one of those games and try it myself because,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I know I'm not color blind. But I'm definitely one of those people who, like I said, I have a hard time distinguishing those kind of nuances. And so I'm
Yeah.
curious now how far that goes.
I mean,
There's
anatomy is just such a cool and curious thing, and then you throw in genetics that influence it, and it's just a whole new learning experience, quite frankly.
yeah. Well, it's also something that like I've always kind of known, but it has become something that I've needed to think about more as I've gotten into, doing like video editing and
Mm-hmm.
for my job is like, oh, suddenly other people are seeing things that I'm just completely missing. So I need to figure out what I need to be more aware of.
Yeah.
All right. It's time to hunt. Where did
Look at the
Lorne
way.
miss? Okay, let's do
Oh, I
this.
know I still have the wings to go, but I'm just stopping so people can see on the body how just doing that blue black
Yeah.
really just gives the musculature this pop, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it won't come
Oh,
across.
Kalith found the definition.
Seeing color through four cones, which are located in the back of your eyeball. This allows people to see colors others don't, since most only have three cones. Your eyes have components called rods and cones that help you see light and colors.
The
That
more
is
you
very cool.
learn. Yeah.
The more you know.
Ba-bum, ba-bum.
Okay. I'm gonna start with the back and just start looking for what I miss. What did I miss?
No,
Oh,
don't
like,
sniff the paint.
and I stop there, and that's it.
Emmy! Listen, you're my sweet Magoo, and I love you dearly, but why?
Because
Why?
I crave the attention, mother.
Yeah, you know that reel, it's like, Mother, I crave violence. No, Hemi's the opposite. He's like, Mother, I crave cuddles.
It is cuddle time.
It is
You
time for
must
the
pay attention to
hooch.
me or I will knock your paint off of the shelf.
Oh my god, I swear, when I'm playing Sea of Thieves sometimes, like, this one right here,
Yeah.
he will come over and try and sit on my damn keyboard. Like, I am fighting a skeleton, stop it. But
You're you're
Mom.
you're going to make me die. No.
Yep, yep, oh yeah. Yeah, very glad we waited on painting the webbing of the wings because
Yeah.
look at that. Look at that chaos.
Yep.
But what's nice is that this will act as some cool shadowing when we put the other color over it. Hemi?
Yeah, I'm
No.
appreciating that too right now for sure, especially since I was just making sure that I'd gotten all around the head and
Yeah,
really the only spot you got to be like extra careful of at this moment is around the mouth because we did
exactly.
all that fun mouth work, which
But
is a
notice
thing I
not
just
the
said.
teeth yet. The teeth are going to come later.
That's true. We still do have to make teeth happen.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Is it the
people who are
sound?
tetrachromatic are believed to see about 100 million different colors.
Cool.
There
Okay.
you go. That's
Out
your
of how many?
superpower.
Like, I'm not going to complain if that's my superpower. I'll take it.
Yeah.
What are the standard colors then for everyone
For us,
else?
us normal people, us
I'm
people
trying to figure out
who
for the. It's not monochromatic. That will be something else different. I'm just realizing I don't know what it's called.
just
Chromatic.
normal sight,
Trichromatic?
normal view.
That kind of sounds like a triceratops. Trichromatic?
Trichromatic.
Okay, no, sir. You're doing this so I scratch your chin. I see what you're doing now.
Mm-hmm. Oof. All
We're
right.
almost there, I think.
Yep, I'm doing my last pass here on what did I miss? Which is good as I have literally just now run out of this color.
Yeah, I'm about out of it too. Which, hey, that's good. It means we're getting good at eyeballing about how much is going to be needed for surface area.
Absolutely.
Not mad at that.
Yep. Satesh 2000 says trichromats,
Try.
three
Okay,
cones
so
versus tetrachromy, four cones.
there we go. There we go. So
Hmm.
I wasn't wrong by saying try. Cool.
No, you were right.
Yay, Latin derivatives.
How'd I miss that whole thigh? No.
I just said that about cooking a chicken the other night.
How did I miss that whole thigh? All right. I think.
Think. It is fun how these painting streams also turn into sort of anatomy classes.
Oh, yeah.
Lauren, Rory is watching you on the other monitor right now.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get this. Hold on, chat. You want to see what she's doing? You want to see what she's doing?
Oh, infinite me. That's just what we need. Here. I'll give you something to go after.
Legit was sitting there watching you. Too cute.
Catch the Dargan. Catch the Dargan.
Okay, so I think we've done. Yes, we are done. We're done with our dry brushing of the zip
Yeah.
black, which means we can now wander over to doing something fun with color.
Yay.
So what I want to do, since we definitely have these wings still kind of dealing with some paint from the dry brushing on the bony protrusions, let's look at the belly. So we're going to work on the belly, and the horns are essentially going to get this same one. So you want to go to the color Dead Flesh Tone. I know, such a pleasant name. And we're going to paint that onto basically right underneath the chin, down the throat, down the belly, under the tail, and then we'll paint the big horns that are sticking out, and we'll do the elbow protrusions with the dead flesh.
Okay. Just straight dead flesh,
Straight.
no additional funness.
Yes, just some straight dead flesh.
Listen, I things that are said. Oh, a little more water on that one. That's a
Yeah,
bit
I'm not
thick.
sure if there's a duochromatic. Someone needs to Google that.
Yeah, normally I'd be the person to do that, but between the painting and the moderating, I'm already doing two jobs. Chat,
Yeah.
we're leaving that up to you. Go forth and discover. Oh, what size brush do I want to use for this? Probably something a decent size, but not huge.
Yeah, I'm playing the same game. I think I'm going to jump in with a 1 round.
Okay.
I think that'll be good.
Did I even bring out a 1 round? Nope, I didn't. I have got. Ah!
Oh, wow. The chat's like going into this. This is really cool. I'm learning even more.
Yeah, I love it. There we
Huh.
go. A 1.
Very cool.
We are now officially a science show.
I'm not mad at this at all, y'all.
Me neither.
This is fun.
We've had a similar thing come up on Children of Erte between Deb doing puzzles that are very, very, very like science focused and not like hardcore science, but things that most people would know from, a high school biology course or something, but science in general. And then um a bunch of other stuff like, hey, I'm playing a druid that turns into animals, and so I'm looking at animals a lot, and we've encountered all these alien species and everything. So science comes up on a regular basis, and we are all a bunch of science nerds. And so at one point it was we had inspired people to go to their local science museum because of the show. And I'm like, listen, if this is our legacy from this show, is you enjoyed the show so much you went and enjoyed your local science museum. I'm here for it.
That's really very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so this dead flesh is basically, it's almost like a, it's the color of an avocado more towards the center, not towards the outer edges, where it starts getting more of that riper green color.
Mm.
It's really my best frame of reference for that right now.
Oh, that makes sense to me.
Basically, you want to go for a very warm yellow green. So you don't want to be a lime green. Lime green is like a brighter bluish lime green type of situation.
Well, and now the fun of not getting on the black with this very, very
Right?
in relation to the black, a very
Mm-hmm.
bright color. I do really like the contrast though.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, and that's official art.
Yeah.
That dragon does come with this brighter goldeny belly.
I may have to add a little bit more water to this. This is
Oh yeah, I
still
had to
pretty
thin mine
thick.
out. It was thick.
I
Yeah, if
thought
you're
I
doing
added
this, I
enough,
forgot to
but
say that. Make sure you thin your paints if it comes out and it's thicker in consistency. Like mine came out almost like a glob of toothpaste, which means I definitely needed to thin the paint down with some water. No, we don't
yeah.
have paintbrushes. We're just
Man,
gonna
your
have these
cats are
bizarre
in
side
rare
comments.
form
They
today.
are. Honestly, it's easier for me to let them sit on the desk than try and fight them to keep them off the desk because we won't get anything done.
Yeah. There has
It'll
to be
turn into a
compromise
loop.
somewhere.
Yeah, it'll just become a loop of my like, wait a minute, oop, wait a minute, oop, wait a minute.
Yep.
Oh, shoot. Speaking of oop, wait a minute.
At
He
least they
does.
are not the type of cats that want to knock everything off of the desk while you're working on it. Or at
No,
least I haven't
that's.
seen them doing that. So,
Rory will do that at dinner time when she's not being fed fast enough.
ah.
She will do that. In fact, she's done that during meetings, like when we have our marketing meeting on Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she will be, you can't see her doing it, but she will be sitting there and, like, just looking at me like, oh, mama. Bonk. And just tossing things.
That classic cat maneuver of
Tap, 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 tap. Whack. Uh huh.
I'm gonna lock eyes with you as I just knock over this thing that you care about.
Yep.
Now, food.
I'm waiting. Not patiently, but I am waiting.
Nope, that's ah.
Oof.
Oh, we're getting lots of science in chat now. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying this.
This is fun.
Hey, if you've got science questions, go ahead and put those in chat. Oh,
Right?
if you've
Chat can
got
help each other out.
exactly. I mean, or if you've got Dargan questions or painting questions or
Mm-hmm.
Idle Champions questions, uh,
Just make sure
that
you
is
do
what
the,
the chat's for.
the question colon tricks. If you want to make sure we are seeing it in caps, all caps,
Yeah.
that'll be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're getting into points where this is a little bit more detail oriented, so we have to like fixate and focus more.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be sure we see your question, announce it with question.
Mm-mm.
Someone got a watch streak.
Mm.
Clintonian.
Mm. Sorry, got
Don't
paint where
worry.
I didn't want it, and I had to do
The
the water
brush, the wet
fix.
brush. Yeah. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
ever get paint where you don't want it, I had to do it. Lauren just did it. You just take a clean, wet brush and you dab it where the paint just went, where you don't want it, and it'll sort of help liquefy the paint more, and you can remove it that way.
And I've just gotten into the habit when I do that. This brush that I'm currently using
Mm-hmm.
just ends up in the mouth, which is not uh Not the most conducive to continuing to talk, and I probably shouldn't do it that way, but ah well.
I think Rory thinks you're having a conversation with her.
I mean,
This is a
I
lie.
am. I'm absolutely.
She's sitting here so engaged with you, looking at the screen where I have you on the monitor, and she's just like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The funny thing being, because I'm doing a lot of looking down, I'm
She
not
probably thinks you're
necessarily
looking at
the
her.
most like, yeah. Like I
This
should
is
do
too
this
funny.
more. Be like, yes.
Yeah,
Hi,
but now you're
kitty.
looking above. But the thing is, you're looking above her head now. So when you're looking down to paint, you're actually looking at where her head is.
Oh, okay. Now I get
It's
it. Okay.
hysterical.
Those cat eye lines are so different than the
Mm-hmm.
human eye lines.
It's so funny. She's like, yes, we're going to sit and chat today. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
This is what we're doing.
All right,
Right,
I'm going to
Bubbles?
move to a smaller brush when we get there. So I'm going to go
Oh
back
my
and do the other
goodness.
side.
Yeah, it's kind of like paint down a little bit, flip it over, paint down a little bit, flip it over. It's kind of what I'm doing here.
I'm doing it mostly the same. I'm just going probably a little bit further down one side. Like I went all the way
Yeah.
to about just before the tip of the tail. And there I'm like, oh, I'm going to want a smaller brush for that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'm at the point where I'm just taking my time
Yeah.
to get these. We'll probably, looking at what the time is now and where we are right now, we're definitely going to extend this by an episode at least. There's so
And
many
that's,
details and textures going on.
yeah. And that's half the fun of this show.
Yeah.
We were talking about this beforehand, but like we're on no specific timelines. There's stuff that we want to do at, you know, specific-ish times, but
Mm-hmm.
everything is pretty flexible.
Yeah.
So being like, oh, we're almost done with this, but instead of rushing, let's just
Yeah.
take another episode or half an episode.
Yeah, exactly. Give it a beat. No, Hemi.
It is the exact opposite of the sketching hour, which is uh be done in 45 minutes or else.
Well, that's the
Or
challenge of
else
it, right?
you're just, yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And certainly we've had artists who have uh come onto the sketching hour and done amazing things in the 45 minutes of the
Oh,
show.
yeah.
And I look at it and I'm like, "Oh, this is amazing." And they're like, "It's only half done." I'm like, I know you are a professional and a perfectionist, but this looks really good."
Well, I mean, it's definitely a thing. You know, there are minis I paint speed paint style. I'm like, it's good enough. People are like, oh my god, it's great. I'm like, "Brr."
Yep.
I'm like, this was just used in case of emergency. Needed it on the table the next day, but oh, thank you.
In case of emergency minis.
This is really such a thing. Like, if it's suddenly you need this mini quickly, I have made a mini in 5 minutes
That's impressive.
for
By
a
made, you mean
spiritual
paint
weapon.
or like bodged together something?
Like, pulled something together to represent a spiritual weapon.
Ah.
Needed a spiritual weapon on the table because it was being used so much, and I basically just took a mini who I had decapitated, and used their sword, like took the sword off of the mini, and then got it set up with some hot glue and wire, and made it look like a floating sword on a base.
That's cool.
Yeah, it worked out quite nicely. Oh dear.
Well, and as someone who has used their spiritual weapon quite a bit, I
Yeah.
appreciate you going out of the way because, yeah, being able to flavor the spiritual weapon is one of the fun spells for clerics to be able to flavor.
Well, that's just it. Like, that's unique to each cleric. So it was one of those things I'm like, yeah, well, yeah, shoot, I got missed a paint spot, so I'm going to have to fix that later. Oh, well, my bad.
It happens.
It does, especially when you have a cat who's not giving you elbow room, literally. So yeah, no, that was a fun thing to whip together and get on the table so we would have references to where the spiritual weapon was at all times.
Mm-mm. 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 Hmm.
You okay?
There. Yeah. I will. On, on a similar vein, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I played with the D4 crew long enough, and over the course of several years, where Orkira would leave and then come back and leave and come back and be very different,
Right.
and her spiritual weapon changed as it happens, as you do,
Mm-hmm.
as your cleric changes and does different things. And I was always very impressed by how quickly they were able uh to just
Create a new one.
have a custom
Yeah,
spiritual weapon there, because
that's fun. That's definitely
yeah.
fun.
Because yeah, on the one hand, because I am such a theater of the mind player, I am grateful
Right.
for any physicality people are going to do. So anyone who's putting together maps and minis and all that kind of stuff, it's like I am impressed by all of it. And it doesn't need to be exact. It doesn't need to
No.
be, perfect. The fact that you've even put together anything makes me happy. And then to do that extra mile of, oh, your spiritual weapon is now a giant ball of magma. Well, here we go. I have a giant ball of magma for you.
Ta-da.
Wait, what?
Oh no, you can't do nose nudges. No, 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 buddy. That's not gonna work. Okay. Hemi has to move.
Sorry,
Bye
kitty.
bye.
Everybody say bye to the kitty.
Bye bye. Oh,
For
bye bye.
now, I'm sure they'll be back.
There we go. That was gonna get to be tricky if he kept trying to nose my brush. I love him, but not for that.
The striations on this underbelly
They're
are really,
detailed.
yeah, they're real cool, but they're also
Yeah.
making it real hard to get in on the corners of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Fully understand that statement.
Ah,
Do do do. Hello, Belnir.
darn it.
Thank you for joining us. She says as she blows the cat hair off of her hands. Come on. Yeah, it's honestly it's fun being able to create minis specifically to specifications or certain concepts. Like I'm honestly excited to get back to the custom mini job I'm doing right now.
Hmm.
I kit bashed together a couple of minis to create a clockwork Bahir.
Oh, is this the one that you were able
Yeah,
to start talking about because the
yeah,
person you were
yeah.
making
The
it for
person,
was in
yeah,
chat?
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
I got slightly delayed because I had to go out of town last weekend, but I'm still happy with how the clockwork Bahir built out. It's really, it was challenging. It took 3 different miniatures to create the
Oh,
final
wow.
look. Yeah. So now I just basically I need to get it primed up and then start working on it. And I actually have the Lottie mini in progress as well. These are characters from the Acking campaign.
How do I want to hold this for the tail? How do I want to do this?
Yeah, I'm kind of in that land too. I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Everybody's talking about Lego D&D in chat. I've seen a
Yeah, that's a
little bit of
thing.
that.
That's a thing out there.
Yep.
Yep, 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 yep. Oh. Okay, this is. Pick an angle, any angle, lots of angles.
No angle will be perfect, so just pick one and
It's kind of what
go.
it is. Yeah, it's just the constant rotation. Again, which is also why I'm kind of glad we're not doing the wings yet, because we'd be handling these wings painted a lot. And
Oof, yeah.
better we do those towards the end.
Yeah, the curve of the back of this tail is definitely
It's tricky.
it's giving me a challenge. It's giving me a pause.
Well, same. So it's more because of how nuanced the curvature is.
Yeah, and while I was trying to be careful with the black, I knew at least we'd be going over it with a different color. So if I
Right.
didn't get exactly, be fine. But now it's like, well, now I don't want to get on the black while I'm doing this.
Yep.
I'm trying to be
It
real
catches up with you.
careful.
One direction or another, it will catch up with you.
Yep.
Now, we'll have a little saving grace when we go to do some dry brushing for the details on the tail because I am going to blend it a little bit along the black line just to soften the edges a little. But you
Yeah,
don't,
that'll
it
be,
doesn't mean you want to like go fully over and everywhere.
but that is good for those little spots where I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, uh, this isn't.
isn't quite what you had envisioned.
Or it's like there were a couple places in where, all right, I went far enough and we're grabbing a paintbrush full of water and fixing it made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
But there's definitely a few spots where I'm like, oh, that's just like a hair too much.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's if I go after it with a paintbrush and water, I'm probably actually just gonna make it
So
worse.
then, yeah.
So
Mm.
definitely moving to an even smaller brush.
Deep living space.
Time for my tiny brush.
Tiny brushes.
Now, this is a 4/0. I think this is the smallest I have.
That is a smaller brush, yeah.
It tiny.
It's wee. It's a wee brushy babe.
It is so helpful to have though, especially for moments like this with the tip of this
Mm-hmm.
tail. It's like, all right, fairly large mini, and yet here I am with the most tiny
Oh,
of
yeah.
brushes.
I mean, yes, there are big minis, but you'd be surprised how often you still need to jump into a smaller detail brush on those, even.
Yep.
It's absolutely a thing.
Ah.
Good lord.
McTribble says wonders if tiny brushes end up as brushlets.
Brushlets.
I
I
just like
mean,
I just like that word, brushlets.
brushlets. Dang it. Did it again.
I don't mind if I get paint all over me. I'm gonna try to not get paint on my shirt, even though I know it can be washed out.
Mm,
Because I like this shirt and I'd like to not get paint all over it. So
that is
that's the
fair.
challenge. Paint this tail without painting myself.
Well, plus trying to get the paint out, it can be removed if caught in time, but it's still a pain in the butt to try and do.
Yeah. And this is one of my Champion the Psychology
I was
shirts.
gonna say, is
The
that the
blue
Champion
one, which I really
Psychology blue one?
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Let
got
me tell you,
the
that hoodie, oh,
oh, it's so soft.
I am so glad I got it like super sized up because I tell you, I throw that thing on early in the mornings when it's like school drop off. It is
Mm-hmm.
just so warm and cozy. It
Yep.
helps soften the early morning wake ups a little bit. Not entirely,
Yep.
but a little bit.
Well, and I mean, I haven't been in that hoodie for this because that one I got about the size I need, but I
Mm-hmm.
do have several other hoodies that are the same kind of thing. They're just super soft and super big,
Yeah.
and they're the hoodies I show up to morning meetings in some just like I just want to be
I
warm
just want to be
and
warm and
comfy
cuddled.
so guess what? Y'all get Darth Urban because I'm just showing up in the hoodie.
I mean, no judgment on my end because I fully understand that one. I just want to be cozy. All right, I'm painting
Yeah.
the elbow bits now with this color.
Okay. I'm almost there. I've got a little
Yeah,
bit more of this tail,
there you go.
but that's actually that'll be perfect timing because it looks like I'm gonna want to use tiny brush for the elbow bits as well. Okay. So now I did the thing where I just painted over the elbow bits in black. So now I got to
That's
find
fine.
them. So,
That's totally
so
fine. It's a lighter color.
two on each of the front legs. Are there any on the back?
Nope.
Oh, I don't see any.
Oops.
Yeah.
So I hit the camera with a wing. No, it's just the front arms, legs, arms. I don't know.
Yeah.
Front limbs.
I think because this is an actual dragon, a true dragon, I think this is a front limb. I think it is a front arm
Okay.
because I think it's wyverns that don't have the front
Right.
arms. They just have the
They
back
just
legs
have the
and they are,
wings. Yeah.
yeah.
The wings are their arms, which is a creepy look.
I need to pick up that book that's the Anatomy of Dragons book that just came out a little while ago.
Yeah, yeah.
It has all the fun
It's a
pictures.
brush. Yeah, that is a cool one.
Not that I need it, I just want it. Because fun pictures of
Nothing wrong
dragons.
with that.
Yeah.
Found a couple of spots where I missed black. I also need to touch up the spots. So I'm going to take a little dollop of black. Take care of that right now while I'm seeing this. Apparently. Okay. Oh, bitter.
We've reached that quiet moment. We've reached
Yeah, I was
the.
just blotting out a streak that I accidentally had happen, so.
Yeah, it happens. There we go. Elbows. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Elbows.
Elbows, elbows.
And elbows. How did I miss that?
Yeah, and I'm extra
Yeah.
glad now looking at everything that we're doing the feathering thing that you were talking about because
Yeah.
some places I got real good and other places not so much.
It's okay. Okay. Alright. Alright, alright, alright. Let me rinse this off. And then basically we're going to paint the wings. Or not the wings.
Dan Dillon's in chat and says, "Moment of painting intensity." Yeah, there's a lot of them. That
paint tensity.
mm,
No, that's not high. Oh, my.
what happened? I missed
you
it.
made the face. She turned around and she made a face at me.
Your cats. Your cats are what? I don't know why your kitties are so
Something's
obsessed with
on
me today, but I'm not mad at it.
Hi. Did Lauren make a face at you and you wanted to show me the face she made? Is that what happened? That was funny. She's got her back to you now. She's looking at me like,
Well, if she's gonna make faces at me, I'm not gonna look at her anymore.
God. Right? Okay. I think I'm happy with how the belly coverage went. I'm going to do the horns.
Me too. Oh yeah, we gotta do the horns.
Yep.
Have a good one, Star Chaser.
Bye. Happy time zone. Yep.
Caleb Mariner's like, the view count is back. Like, yay! I'm sure it'll go away. Twitch today.
Has it been
You know what?
fluctuating?
It does the thing in where all of a sudden it just shows. I don't know what everybody else is seeing, but every once in a while I look up and it just says 0, and I'm like, I know for a fact that is not true. And you know what? If of all of the ways that Twitch could be having problems, this is the least disruptive in my opinion, at least for us.
Not wrong, yeah.
So I'm okay with this.
I'm not mad at
that. Full loops. Schrodinger's view count. Yes. 100%. I'm just going to stop looking at it for that exact reason.
Oh God, too funny. I wonder how that affects the Twitch reports, like, later on.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Right now, as the person on the stream, I'm fine with it because you know what? I'm just having fun with you and we're having a good show and I know I
Yeah.
got people in chat and we're enjoying it. As the person
Yeah.
who later on has to pay attention to all of those numbers, we'll see how happy I am.
Eh,
But for the moment,
eh.
eh,
Yeah.
the important thing is we're having fun here on a Friday with a bunch of friends who are enjoying watching us paint while they play Idle Champions.
There you
Or
go.
maybe they're painting along too.
Yeah, sure. Bots. You're not really bots because bots never admit that they're bots.
That's that's true. Only a bot would say they're not a bot.
I'm not a bot.
I'm not a
There's
bot.
actually reels about people doing this with bots. Like they get into conversation with bots, and the bot like is insisting, "I am real human. How dare you think I am not real?"
Please explain in clear terms why you think I am not
Mm-hmm.
100% a real flesh and blood human person of human origins
Honey,
that is human.
bud, get down. Thank you. Yeah, that's just it. Oof. Duh. These horns have some angles.
Yeah, and the grooves are real
They're
deep, so
deep.
it's a
It's
challenge
misleading.
to like well, it's a challenge I've been finding to get color into the grooves without
Yep.
like overdoing it and filling them.
Get into the groove, school. You gotta
Ah,
prove.
get,
What did it just do to you?
it grabbed the cord of my headphones. And so I'm like, ah.
You're
'Cause
singing
I've
like the
been,
mini was attacking you.
I mean, it kind of tried to take
It
me with
did.
it because I've been doing a lot of bracing like this to get it at those
Same.
horns,
Same.
and yeah, the claw came along and said, "You're mine now."
See? Telling you that Tiamat mini, it attacks. Still have a scar on my stomach from it.
Oof.
There's a talon on that mini. That's honestly why I put her up way high in my office. Um, you walk by it just at the right angle, and it cuts you like a cat claw.
Mm.
It's happened to me. It happened to B Dave.
Yeah,
So
that's
just if you have the
oof.
Tiamat mini, she's feisty. Watch it.
Yeah. Could you imagine putting that
Maxie
mini on the table to use as an actual mini and then actually
gets actually
getting,
get injured. Yeah,
yeah.
it's just that she's got some very pointy talons, and the points on those talons, they're enough. It's kind of like paper cut type of stuff. You don't expect to get cut by
Ooh.
paper, and yet there you are.
Yeah,
So,
paper cuts are the worst. Paper
oh,
cuts
they
are the
really
worst.
are. No, actually, cardboard cuts are the worst.
Ooh, yeah,
The
yeah.
glue
Nope,
to
I
your
think you're
cousin
right.
to a paper cut, whah.
Oof.
Yeah. You getting mad at me? Yeah. Getting into food time for her. Or at least she thinks it's her food time, so. Because she's
I
feeling
mean,
hungry,
same.
right?
It's getting into my food time too.
Yeah, I'm getting close to thinking about what I'm going to do for dinner.
Hmm.
I might go breakfasty type food direction tonight. Even though it's dinner.
Sorry, just catching
Yeah,
up
totally
on
okay.
all of
Totally okay.
chat as I was very intently making sure that I got around the base of the horns by the face and not
Mm,
actually get in the face full of color. So
yeah.
now I can move on to just getting the rest of the horns with a slightly bigger brush.
Yay.
'Cause I did my
Oh
edging. I
boy.
did my homework. I did my edging. Ooh, although that's going to be an interesting angle.
Yeah, I'm totally having to move my lights around today too, apparently, because of all these different angles and shadows. I'm gonna say this for those playing the game. Definitely make sure you thin these paints out for these horns because they are so deep in detail.
100% agree. Yeah. Like I said, that's been the challenge of like getting the paint in there, but not getting
Yep.
too much paint in there.
Yep. I'm sorry, chat. I'm just giving you dragon butt right now.
Everybody enjoy. Mm-hmm. I mean, if there is any place to be, the safest place to be when encountering a dragon is at that end, right? Is looking
Isn't
at it
it?
flying away.
Flying away, sure. I'm thinking like if you're standing in front of a dragon by its tail, there's still some like lashing whip damage that you could take on from its tail being whipped around.
That is true. That is true. But I'm gonna be hopeful that if you're
They're
seeing the butt
flying.
end of a dragon,
They're
that you're
flying away.
seeing the dragon leaving. The dragon has done what it came to do, and time to go off and have a nap.
Yeah. God,
That's what dragons do,
very
right?
long, long nap. That's a valid reason to call in from work. Sorry, boss, can't come in today. I fought a dragon.
See now I'm just gonna start calling my insomnia a dragon, and then I can
There
call
you
into
go.
work with a really cool reason instead of being like, yeah, I'm gonna be not able to come in because I didn't sleep last night, and so my ability to actually comprehend
Mm-hmm.
anything right now is at an all-time low.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Think um while I've got my misgivings about some of the spots under the tail, I'm actually
Mm.
pretty happy with how the horns turned out.
Yeah.
Think I got them edged real well.
Nice.
And I
Very nice.
think mm, and now even with the still have to make the wings be colors, the the yellow and the
Yes.
black are popping off each other real
Exactly.
nice.
Yeah, now we're getting a little bit of pop of color going on here. Okay, so I'm just going to let that dry for a hot second, not a hot minute, because we're going to go back soon. All right? This is
Mm.
not something we're forgetting about. Because we're going to go back and do some dry brushing with the mic and its spores. Which, again, that's one of those D&D prismatic paints, because hello, name.
Yeah.
But just as an FYI for next week,
Oh
um,
yeah. It's
we are
that
going to be
time.
taking a little bit of a break. We'll be going back to the Black Dragon, not to worry. But we actually have a special guest joining us next week, which I'm very excited about. So we're gonna have Tanya DePass joining us. Ta-da!
Yay!
She's gonna be jumping in, and we're actually gonna switch over to painting the flail snail, which Lauren and I have had our eye on for so long.
It came
um,
up in the list and I was like,
right?
yes, please. And then it
Yes,
came in the
yes.
box and I went, I want to do this. This
I
is
want
so
to
good. Because
do the
flail
flail
snail is one of my
snail.
favorite creatures in
Yes.
D&D ever.
So we're gonna have fun starting up the flail snail with Tanya DePass. She's gonna be joining us next week. So we're gonna set the dragon aside for. Lauren and I will figure it out afterwards. Whether we want to try and get the flail snail finished and then go back to the black dragon, or kind of alternate between the two. But it's one of those things where we were
Hmm.
talking before the stream started. Ironic. Sorry, Rory just knocked something off. um,
Well, I stand corrected about your
yep,
cats not knocking
yep.
things off. Oh well.
Um, Normally, what happens when you are doing mini paintings like this is that when you have large minis, you do tend to have two going at the same time to take breaks. So this is kind of reflecting how I, behind the scenes, would actually be painting large scale minis. It's like, oh, I've worked with a black dragon for a while. Let me jump over to this one, and I'm tired of this one. Go back to this one. So just
Yeah.
heads up, there's going to be some toggling between these two minis over the next few weeks while we figure out who we want to work on and how. But next week, Tanya's with us. We get started on the flail snail. It should be a lot of fun. Again, it's a big mini, like it's about the size of my hand.
Yeah, it is.
It's a good size mini.
It's bigger than the dragon, if I remember correctly,
It's no,
especially since
it's
the
comparable to. It's bulkier, like
it's
it's
bulkier.
bulkier.
Yeah.
But it's the same size as this dragon. So we're having some fun with the biggins.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. If you want to join in and paint along with us, looking at Tanya's name, Lauren's going. If Tanya puts it in the Discord chat, that'd be cool. Lauren's going to put the information for the flail snail because there's going to be a few extra supplies, especially with special effects paints. That you're going to want to key into those, and I do highly recommend that you purchase those for your collection because they're color shift paints that are extremely impactful, especially when it comes to things like iridescent creatures, creatures with spell effects, and everything like that. So soon after Paint and Slay, that should be showing up in Discord, just as a
Yes.
heads up. So yeah, that's our special announcement for now. Yay for
Yeah, I'll just
Tanya
put all of
and
our
fun.
socials in the chat,
Perfect.
including discord.gg/idlechampions. Um,
Yes.
so
Okay.
I'm
Hmm.
open to either, but my
Yes.
gut is we go do the start of the flail snail with Tanya,
Uh huh.
and then we come back and finish the dragon before going back to the flail snail. But
Sure.
I'm also open to other, like sticking with the flail snail for a while and then going back to the dragon. I don't know. I don't think there is
There's
a
no right or wrong, quite
right.
frankly.
Yeah.
There really isn't. It's just, time
Yeah.
slipped a little bit because I had to take off last Friday, so we were anticipating finishing it up today, at least the mini itself, because we can always
Yeah.
go back and do the base in another episode. So yeah, that's why we're jumping into the flail snow, because it's one of those things. Tanya is getting this mini specifically from WizKids. So,
You said
oh my God, this girl, get away from those. Those are cat toys.
you said myconid spores, right?
Myconid
There,
spores.
there we go. Like, where's the
Spore, I should
myconid
say.
spore? So yeah, I will actually also ask chat if they have a preference.
Yeah.
So if so we're gonna do the flail snail, some of the flail snail next week. Would you like us to go back to finish the dragon? Would you like us to stick with the flail snail and finish that? Um, it's probably easier to do one or the other, like finish one or finish the other. I don't think we want to continue to go back and forth. I
Yeah.
think that might get a bit confusing for our lovely
Yeah.
YouTube audience.
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. Whatever chat would like to see finished first, we'll go in that direction then.
Yeah.
That's easy enough.
All right, myconid spores.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna do a quick swatch so people can see. So that's what that one looks like. And this one.
Are
we're
we
not
adding
mixing
anything to it, or
Nope.
just
Nope,
okay?
just as
Cool.
it is. And Fuel, as lovely as it would be to have Tanya join us for 2 episodes, that's asking a lot of her time. So we're getting her for the one, which is going to be a lot
Yeah.
of fun to do.
Yeah, especially for a 2-hour show in the middle of a Friday.
Yeah,
So
And convention appearances and stuff are kicking into gear. So,
yep.
all right. So what we're going to do is take myconid spore and start dry brushing this. Start where we initially started with this for the throat and everything, because that is now dry enough. Don't go right into the horns because we only just finished those. And we're going to be dry brushing, but what I'm also going to do is I'm just going to play along the edge here to create this blur line between the two. Let me bring that up closer. See how that's
Okay.
happening?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pull it across.
All right.
Yeah. And because myconid spores is more of a neutral beige, it's going to, of course my bright light is not helping with this one. It's going to sort of mute down the intensity of the dead flesh, which that's the thing I just said.
That is a thing. Yep.
Mhm.
I mean, that's how it works. It's just
Yep,
how it
it
works.
do. Yep, it do. Good Lord.
Let's see. McTribble suggests finishing the dragon, then completing the fail snail.
Fail snail?
That's a different thing. The flail snail,
is.
which I mean, the good thing about the extra good thing about going back and forth, as far as like pausing the dragon, doing some of the flail snail, and then coming back to the dragon, for folks who are joining us, is if someone wants to jump on in and catch up, they've got a little bit more time to do that. So
Yeah, definitely.
but yeah, flail snails are one of my favorite D&D creatures. They're super cool looking. They've got a couple of really unique powers. Because anytime you can get a monster that is not just, claws and a bag of hit points, I am always very, very happy. And it is one of the very few creatures in official D&D, at least, that has written into the rules things you can do when you harvest their
The
parts,
shell,
essentially.
right? Yeah.
Yep, you can do all sorts of things with their shell. And on top of all of that, flail snails, they eat rocks and dirt, and the trail that they leave behind is glass. And so, in pretty much all of my I actually have a specific one shot that deals with it, but it's kind of fun to be like, oh yeah, there's a whole factory filled with flail snails. The people are just feeding them dirt and harvesting the glass. Because why wouldn't you just
Mm-hmm.
do that? Because that's the other fun thing about flail snails. They're a monster, but they're not an aggressive monster. So they will fight back
Right.
for reasons. But they won't necessarily be the aggressor. So they can show up in places and be a creature you interact
No.
with in ways
Get down.
other than fighting.
Get
So
down.
they just have all sorts of fun things going for them that make me
They
happy.
do. They really
And
do.
they're pretty.
They are. They are
And they're
so
pretty.
pretty. Yeah, if you haven't seen what a flail snail looks like, go to dndbeyond.com. Just scope out the artwork. You know, just saying. Just saying it's worth
Yeah.
checking out.
Yeah, you had it up there on the screen for a little bit
Yeah.
uh with Tanya, but like it's so worth looking at. And then that's the fun thing, the other like people hear snail and so they're automatically thinking of a smaller creature. They're
No,
huge.
the big, big, big.
They're
Yeah,
huge.
they are literally huge.
So yes, one of my favorite creatures. And I use them as often as I can. They show up in so many places.
Nothing wrong
And
with that.
when I'm playing in a game and I'm a player and they show up, I am so delighted.
Yay.
Other people
That's
are
me
like,
with this
"Yay,
tracer
more."
base.
Yeah. Everybody's kind of got their creature that is their jam.
Right?
Hmm. Oh, we've reached that point
What? What?
of
Point?
the
What point?
show. We've reached that point in the show. How an hour and a half in, and McTribble, a mage tried to teach flail snails to follow a pattern, but after so many failures, his eyes glazed over.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Yep, yep. It is that time on a Friday.
We're getting punchy.
Yep,
The Friday goofies have kicked in.
yep.
Yep, yep, yep. Oh, yep, yep, yep. Oh, it's getting tricky in these angles. I will say that.
Yeah, although I like that we're using this as a way to do the blending because it gives me uh
Yeah.
a little bit more leeway on that edge. I'm a little happier with how the tail looks now that I've got some blending going on.
Oh, good. I think I made myself hungry by thinking about what I want for dinner.
Hmm.
Dangerous game. Dangerous game, I tell you.
Yeah, I'm intentionally trying to not think about it. No one needs to hear my stomach rumble on camera. Mm.
Yeah, I used to do a lunch break live stream on my YouTube channel. Joke being on myself, it was around lunchtime, so people who were at work they could watch during their lunch breaks.
Hmm.
And there were times where you could hear my stomach coming through loud and clear. Rah, 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 rah.
Yep.
So,
I wonder if there's a specific filter for microphones
tummy grumbles?
for tummy grumbles.
I don't know. I have to look into that.
Oh, geez, tail, why you got me this
It's
angle?
curvy. Oh,
Yeah.
McTribble, I can't do. Well, I guess I could get dairy-free cheese pizza. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
I mean, pizza. Pizza. If I want to do pizza, I want to do pizza. There is a place in town that has a really good dairy-free pizza option.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but because it's like, a dietary special request type of pizza, it ain't cheap.
Yeah.
A personal size is like $22. It's like, argh. So that's like a special treat for myself when I really, really want a pizza.
And I'm assuming we're doing same dry brushing on the elbow bits and on the horns.
Yep, we are. You got
Hey, assumptions.
it. You got it. It's a thing. Good grief. Why? There. Oh, we're getting to that time of year where I need to keep a closer eye on my lighting because it's changing again.
Oh yeah, so's mine, but fortunately it's
Yeah.
just happening behind me. One of the rare times during the winter that suddenly the sun comes out in Seattle. So trying to enjoy what I can.
Come out, Seattle. Hey, it works.
Oh, I need to stretch. Ah. Ah.
Same. Just getting stubborn and need to get these couple of spots. I need to get back out to Seattle. I want Mr. West coffee. It's this
Yeah.
lovely little shop right in Seattle that is so good.
Yeah, Mr. Mick Tribble says the downside of painting shoulders tend to lock up. Yeah, that's why trying to remember to take a stretch. We should do that thing in where people can redeem channel points to tell you to drink water and
Oh,
stretch and
yeah.
things.
Hydrate, stretch. Yep, I
Yeah,
hear ya.
do the whole thing. Because
Yep.
definitely we're more than an hour and a half in having that moment of like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I need to not hunch. Why am I hunched? Well, because mini painting
We're the
sometimes.
Hunch Bunch.
Yeah. That's the alternate title of the show, The Hunch Bunch.
The Hunch Bunch. Okay, I'm just going through and doing a little bit more blending work along those edges, and I'm gonna go to the horns.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things. It's like when you're playing a video game and
Mm-hmm.
you unintentionally are moving your head around
Oh,
or
I
moving
do
your
that
body
all the
around trying to
time.
like
Good
see
God, yeah.
around a thing. It's like, no, this is
Yep.
a video game. That's not going to help.
That's not gonna.
Yep.
See around the corner.
Yep. Whereas things like this, every once in a while I find myself contorting in a weird way and have to remind myself, I don't have to do that. I can move the mini.
Yep, the mini is movable.
I can make the mini do what I want it to do. I don't have to be at the whim of the mini most of the
I
time.
mean, there are times I have done some odd contortions just to see into a spot of a miniature because of how it's been sculpted.
Yeah.
There was just no way around it. But yeah, if you can make the mini come to you as opposed to you coming to the mini, I recommend that attack for sure.
And it definitely is both easier and harder when you get a larger mini because sometimes it's a lot easier and then sometimes this tail is just it's super cool looking, but
It
the
is.
curve on that thing is wicked and hard to
Mm-hmm.
manage.
Mm-hmm. It's got a wicked curve, yo. Oh, hi, Aurora. Good grief, little girl. Yeah.
Okay. Let me
All right.
come over here.
So then we're going to move on to the horns.
Yep, I'm just finishing up with the horns now. This is definitely one of those reminding myself to move the mini, not contort.
Mm-hmm.
This is
But we are going to do something fun after I get the horns. I'm going to show you what else we're going to do with the myconid spore.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time left.
Mm-hmm.
We do have we weren't able to have community Q&A this morning. This morning? Yes.
Yes, this morning.
But we do have community Q&A. Or we didn't have community Q this morning. We've got formation save coming up after us. So, well, we didn't have our full day of streaming. We will have our full afternoon of streaming.
Yeah. We'll still get the afternoon, which is good. Okay, so what we're going to do now that the horns have been done, you see how there are these bony protrusions sitting on the top of the noggin?
Yes.
With myconid spore and your brush very lightly loaded. In fact, if you've already kind of dry brushed with it, that's almost ideal. Just going to take it and start pulling it across the tips of those.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is really going to help highlight and feature the face a little bit more. See? And I'm even going to pull it down on the bridge of the nose and cheekbones.
Get all the lovely detail in that face.
Yeah, exactly. This kind of makes it jump out even more. Look at that. Look at that craggy face. Love it.
Yeah.
And also do the same thing to the ones on the jawline.
Come on. There we go.
You can see it helps give more detail going on there. But this is something I definitely recommend when you're going to do this, because you're going a very light color onto a very dark color. Either have just finished dry brushing an area where you think the paint's almost gone and then go back and do this part, or really brush it off on a paper towel until it almost looks like everything is off the brush. Because a very tiny amount of paint pigment will go a very long way with this drastic contrast of colors. So just a little tip there. Like, I have yet to dip my brush back in. And I've managed to get the entire face. So, just something to keep in mind.
I'm just trying to make sure I've got all the spikes. There are a couple hidden behind horns.
There are, yep. There's some sneaky horns, or protrusions, I should say, behind the horns. But it really helps with the face definition. Garrar.
Very nice.
Yes. Here's looking at you, kid.
All right.
Let's see, moving along quite nicely. Okay, let me take a look at my notes, just to make sure that where we're going to end up is a good place to stop too.
Yeah, since we are ending up towards the end, and we got to get off to give time for formation save. Which, if you are new to the to our channel, to our streaming, formation save is actually one of the more unique shows that we get a chance to have, because you can submit your specific game with your formation and your champions with their gear and everything to Sean to pull and put up on the screen. So if you're looking for help with a specific thing, hey, I need help getting done with this adventure variant, and these are the champions I got in there, and this is the formation that I'm running, how can I tweak things to make it better? That's what formation save is for.
There you go. Okay,
all right, what's our final bit?
Displacer beast. This is what we're going to put into the webbing, which, although, let me just double check myself on this one. I want to make sure this is in fact the color I want to use. Oh, that's right, because I am putting a stone wall on top of this. So
you mean the webbing, like in between the fingers?
The leathery bits of the wings and between the fingers, yeah. Yeah, that's the color we want to use. So basically, what's left as white is going to get Displacer Beast.
Ah, okay. So we're gonna get
And then
started on this, but we're gonna have to
we're gonna
continue.
pick back up, which is why it's a good one because this is one of the ones that we don't have to do a blending,
Yeah.
so it'll work out nicely. I do recommend you thin it out a little bit. At least mine's
Oh yeah.
thick. Do do do. Two drops.
So now the question is, knowing that I'm not gonna get it all done today, where do I want to start?
I think I'm gonna do the inside portions of the wings because those are gonna be a little bit more time consuming.
You know what? That sounds like a good plan. Do some edging on the inside of the wings and
Yeah.
set myself up for success the next time we get together.
Yes,
Or the
yes,
next
yes,
time we
yes,
do,
yes. Yeah.
next time we dargen it up.
Mm-hmm. And I know this is translating as blue on the screen, but we're also going to be using Stonewall Gray to overbrush. So I'm aiming for like a nice bluish gray webbed look, as opposed to blue wings. But again, this is something that gives your, technically black creature more visual interest.
Yeah.
Bring in some different colors that'll nod to it being a darker creature without it being all black.
Yeah, because no creature is all one color. Even if it
No.
looks like it's one color, they all have got uh at least little differences in striations and things. And then on top
Exactly.
of that, this isn't a real creature. This is a fantasy creature. You want to look cool.
Exactly.
You want it to look super cool. And so why not? Why not have it be not just black all over, but black with all sorts of really cool highlights? I might have watered this blue down too much. Hmm.
It's actually not a bad thing. Mine is on the more watery side
Yeah.
because, this has so many little nooks and crannies. You can see here. I want to make sure that's getting in there.
Yeah.
So a thinner coat, especially with these wings, is definitely much better because there's so many details, but they're not as deeply etched as what we have with the scale work. We don't want to lose that to thick paint.
And since we're going to be coming back and
That's just it. We're doing
doing
another
more of it,
layer
we
of
can always
paint
do a
on
second
top.
coat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That may not even be necessary, to be honest, because if we're doing the overcoat with Stonewall Gray,
Mm-hmm.
as long as this is getting recessed into the grooves, that's going to accomplish what we need.
Oh, I just looked over at chat and Kayla Marin is talking about making banana bread. Oh, that sounds good.
It does sound good. My mom makes the best banana bread. My God.
Ooh.
I have tried to follow in her footsteps. It's just, you know how someone has like a recipe that's just their recipe?
Yeah.
That's her banana bread. It's just always so consistently good when she makes it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And baking is so hard. Like, I find baking way harder, despite the fact that baking should be easier for those of us who are just like, I will just follow the exact directions.
Mm-hmm.
But like, to really get something excellent out of a baked good when you're making it, that there's more than just science going on.
Yeah.
Mm, mm, mm.
Who goes there? I'm feeling
Ah.
claws pulling on the back of my chair. Which Nemo? Which Nemo? I know it's not Rory. She's back up next to me. Near Lauren.
Hi, kitty. Also, thank you, Satesh. That is very nice.
Hmm?
They say the two of you are fantastic. I don't get to join very often because of work, but I really enjoyed it.
Aw.
Thank you.
Oh,
I
you're
also didn't know
welcome.
that about formation save. Yeah, Formation Save is it's a fun show because of that exact fact. And
Yeah.
if um there are a bunch of people who know a lot about this game, but I think it's fair to say Sean probably knows as much as anybody, if not more, especially when it comes to making formations and working with the champions and all of their abilities and everything. And so, yeah, he is kind of one of our experts when it comes to actually playing the game.
Doo-doo.
All right, I'm gonna finish this corner, and then I think that's a good place for me to
Yeah, I'm gonna
pause.
finish up this section right here. I might off. What I might do, Lauren, is after we log off, is I'm gonna get at least this side of the wing finished.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still have a good amount of paint left where I can get that finished up. But I think I'm gonna wrap it up about here because I know we need to start wrapping this up in general.
Yep. Whereas I will just have to catch up next time because I'm actually going to be helping out for a little bit with formation save right at the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah, I
So,
want to give you enough time to switcheroo between streams. So, okay, I'm gonna put no, sir. I'm gonna put this down for now. I will finish painting that wing after we go off air.
yep, I just got
But don't forget, look
I
at
don't know how
that.
there it is. There it is. I'm like, how do I show this on camera? There
Carefully.
we are. It's
All right.
hiding.
So don't forget, you still have a chance to log into the game, and during Grand Revel, get yourself a Presto.
Yeah.
I seriously, no, get Presto. Presto's adorable. Presto's wonderful, and this is your weekend to do it if you haven't already. On top of that, don't forget it is the weekend, which means it is time for another weekend buff, and it's the Hat of Many Spells weekend. Again, this is something that you'll get in the weekly newsletter that we send out. If you haven't signed up for the weekly newsletter yet, all you need to do is log into the game and opt into the receive the newsletter option that is there in the upper left hand corner type of thing. And we will send you an email once a week, and we send you something free. This week it's a free gold hat chest, okay? So yeah, and every so often we'll send you another email about an update about the game or some important news, but those also come with free stuff.
Yeah.
So really, like, newsletters aren't a bad thing. We give you stuff for the game use. So if you haven't
We
logged
try
in,
our
and,
best.
yeah, if you haven't logged in, signed up yet, then do it. We highly recommend it. And don't forget, next week we're taking a break from our little black dragon friend because we have our friend Tanya DePass joining us to paint the not so little flail snail. So we're going to get that one started next week, and then we'll update you at the end of next week's episode as to which miniature to anticipate the week after that.
Yep, and I will make sure to have that information about the flail snail. It'll probably be sometime this afternoon in the Discord, so discord.gg/idlechampions.
Yay! And so thank you so much, chat, for hanging out with us today. It was good to see you all there chatting and talking and playing Google search for us with all the scientific data. That was
Yes,
awesome.
thank you.
Seriously. That
The
was
more
really
you
good.
know.
Da-da-da-da. So we will see you next week on the 16th. Hopefully you all have a good and restful weekend. Stick around. Formation Save is coming up. Lauren's going to be hanging out in the chat so you can say, or continue conversations. I was going to say hi, or, continue the conversations with Lauren. Totally up to you. So until then, I'll see you next week. And Lauren will see you if you're hanging out with us after this stream. Cool.
In moments.
In moments. Mere moments. All right, everyone. That's it for this week. Take care. Bye.
Bye.